What's going on, everybody? This is the Sports Table, and we can technically call this episode 2 of our getting back to school and kind of getting back to normal podcast. But, Mike and I had to rush over to each other's place and go ahead and bang this one out because this is huge. If you guys are sleeping under a rock or just happen to not have internet access, go to your local Starbucks and get some Wi-Fi, first of all. But second, Kyrie Irving was traded to the Boston Celtics in exchange for Isaiah Thomas, Ante Zizic, the Brooklyn Nets first round pick, which for you guys that don't know, that is top 5 protected. So essentially that, it's not?
No.
Okay.
It's completely unprotected. So the Cavs could get top 3, maybe first overall.
Oh, well, no, that's what I was saying. I was saying that they could get in the top 5. Okay, I had the wrong definition, but I was simply saying that they could get really high. So Michael Porter, Marvin Bagley, or something like that. So that's great for them. And then Jay Crowder as well, who, when discussing with Mike, we kind of chalked it up to a little bit better of an Iman Shumpert, a guy that can shoot a lot better, a guy that can defend just as well, because they put him on LeBron during the Eastern Conference Finals in a lot of their games, and he did a pretty good job of clamping him up. So that's a trade that's been the big talk today in the NBA. They even had to make a little adjustment to 2K18's cover, which I thought was pretty funny. But that was a trade, and I'll kind of kick it off what I think with it, and then let Mike go with his flows. But really, I see this as a quote-unquote win-win for both sides, because we'll start with Boston just because that's a little bit less obvious than I think the Cavs. For Boston, you get Kyrie Irving, a guy that quote-unquote wants a team to himself, and he gets that here in Boston. He gets a squad to his own. Al Horford and Gordon Hayward are not ball-dominant players. I think that Gordon Hayward, and tell me if you disagree, but I think Gordon Hayward played pretty well off the ball. He did create a lot, but Hayward is also a very good knockdown shooter. So that'll let Kyrie kind of handle the ball and do whatever he needs to do. Offensively, he feels like he has his own team. And, low-key, I don't know if this is his motivation at all, but this is obviously the Cavs' rival, a huge rival of LeBron and his career. The Celtics have always been there at the helm of his goals of getting through the Eastern Conference Finals and getting to the NBA Finals that happened all the way back with Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, and Kevin Garnett. That Celtics squad always kind of, gave him some bad history and bad waters. But so I think this is a chance for Kyrie, too, to kind of prove to not only himself but to the world and maybe even to LeBron that he can hold a team. Because what a lot of analysts were saying, and I was even kind of discussing earlier with Mike, is they said that Kyrie couldn't hold a team on his own back 3-4 years ago when the Cavs, because they subsequently got 3 first overall picks in a row,
exactly,
with Anthony Bennett, who is probably the worst selection of any major sports history.
He is the worst first overall pick or draft pick in any league ever.
Yeah.
He's the worst. He's the biggest bust, but I guess that's a topic for another day.
Yeah, so garbage. But, so can Kyrie really carry this team? That will be it. And it'll be actually kind of really interesting to see Kyrie and LeBron bang out against each other. And for you guys that didn't know, Celtics season opener is in Cleveland.
So we're going to see this matchup very early.
In Cleveland.
I'm ready for it.
Yep, it'll be really interesting.
Yeah,
and
LeBron,
is going to go right on it as fast as he can and is going to just pounce on there because, one thing about LeBron and his camp is he doesn't like to be disrespected by anybody either. So I'm sure he's taking this a little bit personally. So anyways, from the Celtics perspective, they get a guy in Kyrie Irving that can score like crazy. Can facilitate, I believe. I believe he's a really good passer. I think that LeBron just kind of outshined him as a passer last year.
That's debatable.
Well, I mean, I'd say that he still has the right court vision. It just depends what he chooses to do with it. If he has his mind about going to the bucket, he's not giving it up. But
I think Kyrie's more of a natural 2-guard, or I guess they call him a scoring point guard nowadays. I mean, he can pass the. I mean, he can pass the ball. He can be a playmaker, but Kyrie's a natural scorer, and that's what he's gonna do. Kyrie's probably gonna average 28 to 30 points this year, just because he can. But I think the trade is a win-win for both sides, because if you think about it, Isaiah Thomas is very small, but he is I think he's a better off the ball player than Kyrie Irving is. He can come off screens, you know, do the small things on offense that Kyrie probably didn't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But and then Jay Crowder. Jay Crowder, I think, is estimated or underrated in this aspect of the trade because he'll add another wing defender and another 3-and-D player. You know, 3-point shooter and plus a nice defender, which they needed in the finals. All this is for the finals, and that first round pick can turn to the first overall pick.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
That is huge. But for Boston side, they get Kyrie Irving. He's 25 years old, 24, 25 years old, and they have a great setting for the future because they still have the Lakers pick for next year.
Yeah, and they got rid of one of the picks that Danny Ainge was looking to ship. And don't sell yourself short. They still have a bunch more picks, man. That was one little bullet out of their revolver to say.
They have picks, but then the thing is for the Celtics that I think this is the big thing out of the trade is that Kyrie on the contract for 2 more years, and Isaiah Thomas, he's a free agent after next year. So the Cavs, either they know something, but they're gonna have to pay LeBron and back up the Brinks truck for Isaiah Thomas as well. So it's going to be 2 $30 million players that are going to have to re-sign. And the Cavs are already over the luxury tax. They're paying a huge luxury tax bill.
Yeah, and if you think about that too, they would have had to in 2 years probably pay Kyrie as well. If he didn't leave. So they probably save money even there with Isaiah because I think Isaiah will still take money. And really, this is how it's going to work with D-Rose too. If these guys experience a bunch of success, they'll take a little bit of money. Look what happened with Durant. I mean, the way that money goes around in the NBA, they'll take $2-3 million less if that means a championship.
Yeah. So I guess my question to you is, what do you think about? I think it's a foregone conclusion that these two teams will be in the Eastern Conference Finals. I mean, I guess Washington can play a little role. Milwaukee can go to 5 games, but I think everybody if we had to put money on it, you would pick these two teams to be in Eastern Conference Finals.
I agree.
So, do you think Celtics can take the Cavs
in a 7-game series? No, because again, and some people agree to disagree or just flat out disagree, but I think in a 7-game series, the best team always wins because you have to win 4 games out of that 7. So that's obviously a majority. And there are fluke games in the NBA, but
like Game 4 last year.
Exactly, some certain flukes, but you don't have 4 wins. They're all flukes in the sense of that, or you're just a garbage team. Because if you let yourself make that many mistakes and quote unquote, say I shouldn't have lost this game, you lost the game. That's what happened. But so, no, in short, I don't think the Celtics will be able to beat the Cavs in a 7-game series because of one reason and one reason only. It's LeBron James.
Yeah, that's just LeBron. I mean, LeBron, Eastern Conference, their team is going to the finals. It's as simple as that. And I don't think that the Celtics really have a shot.
I agree.
They should have got swept last year, and I wouldn't be surprised if they go home in 5 games. They're going home. I mean, it doesn't matter. They're going home. It didn't matter who they picked. They could have picked up Paul George. They're going home. Yep. I mean, LeBron is LeBron. He's the king of the East. So, I mean, it's just simple as that.
But it will be really formidable. I think they can even maybe take them to 6 games, maybe even 7. Well, here's what that relies on. That relies on, first of all, Kyrie being able to lead that offense. That also relies on, 2, the guys all buying into the program and buying into that, such as Jason Tatum, a young rookie who had such a great summer league until he got hurt. So it relies on him buying into it and playing really well. Relies on Gordon Hayward playing well. They got a lot of different personalities on the Celtics team this year, which is going to be interesting. And if Kyrie complains about this situation too, man, then he might as well just go to the Magic and try to wait for the Magic.
Exactly.
Or something.
He got everything he wanted. I mean, if you think about it, he came into a better situation.
I agree.
He went to a team
contender.
Contender. He's gonna be the guy.
Yep.
I mean, they have one of the best front offices in the league.
Danny Ainge.
So they got Danny Ainge. They have a great young coach. The only front office you can argue with is is Popovich or maybe Pat Riley in Miami. But And he's in a phenomenal situation, so I don't think he can complain about this.
Yeah, speaking personally, yeah, like you said, if I was just trying to look at it from, if I was going to change businesses or change schools or colleges or something, I'd want to go to the best place, and I think he chose the best place possible. And it's kind of sad because, for you guys obviously can't see, is this a podcast? I'm wearing my Kyrie little T-shirt, Cavs T-shirt, and Mike and I were joking as I walked into his place that burning that would be so stupid, because in 5 to 10 years it becomes a retro jersey and something that can actually be worth a little bit of money. And it's funny that you think people burn Melo's jersey, burn LeBron's first jersey, potentially even burn Jordan's jersey when he left to go to the MLB or go to the Wizards. But so I think I'm gonna hold on to this Cavs Kyrie.
So I guess since they play each other on opening night, how do you think the Cavs fan should or will respond to Kyrie coming back?
Whew, that's a really good question. I think, unfortunately, they'll boo him pretty bad just because of the way he said he didn't want to play with LeBron. And LeBron is the Cavs guy.
Yeah, but part of me says, I think it'll be half and half because, he didn't hit the shot to win them the championship.
Agreed.
But, they're like, oh, you can go wherever you want, but we still have, LeBron.
Yeah.
When we meet up in June, you're going home.
Yep.
We're gonna have the last laugh in this. So, I think when LeBron leaves next summer, they're gonna hate LeBron a lot more than they hate Kyrie right now. So, I mean, I think it's gonna be half and half. It's gonna be a nice game though because LeBron's gonna bring it. So
that's an interesting topic, and we'll actually go into that just for a couple minutes before we get into the next thing. I personally do not think LeBron will leave next summer, and here's why. As strong as the Western Conference is, even if LeBron James goes to Lakers with Paul George and Lonzo Ball, they're not getting out of the West. They're not beating the Warriors.
Okay.
For the simple fact of that team is not enough to beat the Warriors.
Oh, of course not, right? That's not enough. But just playing devil's advocate here. But what if, they have Lonzo, they have Brandon, and if they can somehow get rid of that horrific Luau Deng, contract of $18 million, they can afford, if they take a minor pay cut, 3 superstars.
They could. And again,
that could do it. But I don't think I agree with you on that. I don't think LeBron is going to simply leave to go to another,
situation.
Situation of the same, situation that he's going to lose in the Western Conference Finals instead of Finals now.
It just depends how Kobe Altman, the new GM, performs and gives LeBron the confidence that they're in it to win. And their argument was, if you think about it, they are the highest team over the last 3-4 years since LeBron's re-signed with them in luxury tax, even more so than the Warriors. So obviously, to me, they're committed to winning, I believe, for LeBron and the franchise. Now, what LeBron was angry about was not getting potentially Paul George, Jimmy Butler. But
rightfully so.
Yeah, if you really think about it, I don't know how well those guys would have even fit in. Maybe Paul George would have fit in well with them, but I don't think Jimmy Butler would have been.
Yeah, because Jimmy Butler's more of a ball dominant player. Paul George can play off the ball a little bit more.
Yep.
But looking back on it, it did kind of suck that Paul George thing didn't happen. It's not the management's fault though, because the story came out that the deal was done. The Cavs were celebrating the deal when that they thought they had Paul George. They sent Kevin Love to Denver, and Indiana got Gary Harris and picks or whatever.
Yep.
But then Kevin Pritchard came back and it was like the deal's off.
Yep.
He just came out and the deal's off. So the deal was done. So I guess LeBron can't really be mad at that. But it's just a simple fact of it didn't happen.
And
if Paul George came to the Cavs with or without Kyrie Irving, they had a legit shot to beat the Warriors.
I agree, and I'll throw a question your way since I haven't asked you one here in a little bit. What do you think about Isaiah's injury, though? I saw a little article about that with his hip, that the Cavs are going to be cautious because while they've quote-unquote agreed to a deal, nothing's in paper yet, at least what I believe.
Yeah, if he doesn't pass the physical, of course, all of this is done. This never happened. But Adrian Wojnarowski from ESPN said that the Cavs aren't too worried about it, the short term. Not long term, the short term. So I guess that kind of says a lot about their thought process of Isaiah Thomas, that they, don't plan on resigning him. They don't plan on throwing the Brinks truck to him. So
I think it depends how he plays. Cause
yeah, I mean, if they go out and upset the Warriors, all bets are off. They might just
keep everyone. Because really, if you think about it, man, on paper, the Cavs look absolutely stacked. Because with Isaiah, yes, the dude's short, but he's gotten buckets against everyone. That's what I don't like when people continue to use his height, because he gets buckets while he's on the Celtics. He's getting buckets against the Cavs. When he's on the Celtics, he's getting buckets against the Warriors. So he's playing against these guys. What changes when he goes to the Cavs?
I mean, it's the fact that he's short on the defensive end. On offensive end, we know that
I agree.
He's gonna get 25 a game.
But think about this too. I'll play little devil advocate here. Kyrie was also terrible.
Oh, he's terrible
defensively.
But then you're replacing a terrible defender with a worse defender. So that's the problem. So I mean, if you think about it, when LeBron's off the floor, they're gonna have to have defenders around him to try to hide him. But
Jay Crowder, which is one of the reasons.
Now, one of the things that people are forgetting about Isaiah Thomas is, he did it by himself in Boston. He was over there and he led that team.
Yep. When
LeBron's off the floor for the Cavs, what happened?
Yeah, Kyrie wasn't as great.
Kyrie and Kevin Love, it just didn't work.
That's why, and I forgot, I saw a picture on Twitter today. I forgot Kevin Love was even still on the Cavs. I feel like we haven't even talked about him in forever.
Yeah, we haven't talked about him because no one wanted him.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the trade discussion until Kyrie happened.
Yep.
And then everyone knew, okay, they're not going to trade both of them.
Exactly.
If they do, it's going to be a ginormous deal. But so, I mean, it's going to be interesting. But I guess one thing, switch the conversation over, D Wade is getting a buyout soon.
Yes.
If he comes to the Cavs with D Rose, with Isaiah Thomas, with Jay Crowder, LeBron, and the crew.
Think about that. That's a stacked squad, man.
They have a really stacked squad, but do they have enough? We're looking at championship here.
Here's what happens in my books. I'll run it down real fast. Isaiah at the 1, obviously. The dude is going to score. He's going to get his buckets either way. Steph Curry, and this is obviously assuming that it's Cavs Warriors in the finals, just for a side note. Isaiah's going to get his buckets. Steph's going to get his buckets. That's just how it goes. They'll probably put JR at the 2, I'd assume, depending on how he plays. I say they put Crowder at the 3, based on his shooting, skills, things like that. I say they put LeBron at the 4, interestingly enough, because of size, speed, matchups against Love and whoever else he has to defend. Not Love, Draymond Green. And then they put Love at the 5. And here's why I think that squad would actually be, and that is that they're obviously their team right now. That's why I think they run with lineup-wise, because, at least against the Warriors, because I think they'll probably play Tristan Thompson. They paid that guy max money. They might actually come back to bite them in the dust.
Oh, the JR contract, Iman Shumpert contract, and Tristan Thompson contracts are definitely killing the Cavs right now.
Yeah, those are pretty tough.
They are hating that LeBron conned them into those deals, but it happens. I guess when we want to keep your superstar, it happens, but I mean, that Tristan and JR, 15 million for JR? Oh, God.
And who knows? It could change next year. JR did battle injury. Apparently, Tristan Thompson battled, relationship problems. And, that's no excuse. But there has been a Kardashian curse, to say the least. You look at James Harden. Now you look at him now that he has no Kardashian. But because if those guys come back and really get their games back in shape, then it looks like great deals. Mm-hmm. And they have everybody else. So I think that's the 5 that they use against the Warriors. And then off the bench, you have D Rose, if he can rekindle himself. D Wade, who could be another really good backup player. Iman Shumpert at the 3. Tristan at the 5. And I don't even know who their backup forward would be, but Channing Frye, Richard Jefferson, some kind of combination of that.
Channing Frye better not touch the floor in the NBA Finals. If he touches the floor, I'm turning the TV off.
So maybe it might be RJ there at the 4. But either way, to me, that kind of looks like enough, at least on paper, to get it done. And again, I think this all depends on how well Crowder can shut down Kevin Durant. And
that's not happening.
I really don't think...
Just play with them.
Exactly. I don't really think anybody can ever shut down Durant. But how well he can limit his production will be huge. And then that'll also let LeBron potentially switch on to Steph, switch on to Clay, switch on to Draymond, kind of limit that a little more, because I think what so many people missed sight on in this NBA Finals was, and I know we're kind of getting off topic a little bit, but LeBron had to play D against Kevin Durant and got worn out and played 47 minutes a game. You can't rough. Physically do that. I don't care.
Yeah, that's rough. That's why the Paul George acquisition would have been huge, but it didn't happen.
But Jay Crowder's similar to that.
Jay Crowder's a tough defender, but Kevin Durant's about 7 feet tall, and Jay Crowder's like 6'6". I mean, and it's gonna be tough on him. But I mean, it's gonna have to get done.
It'll still be another, in my books, expendable body, because now they can throw in Iman Shumpert for 10 minutes. Say pick up 5 fouls. I don't care.
Yeah, just
try to tire out Durant. So that definitely helps them. But okay, so I think that's enough there on the NBA. It's going to be a great season, and this obviously isn't the end of the podcast yet, guys. We have one more little thing we want to get into, but it should be a great season. We look forward to covering it all. We're also, just for quick little reference, going to be doing a lot of things with maybe some guest stars. We're looking at a moderator and mediator that we're going to try to get on the team. But this NBA season will be great to cover, and hopefully when Mike and I continue to hit the ground running with our schedules and stuff, we'll be able to get out daily things. So it'll be a pretty consistent thing that you guys will hear about. And we already have some connections and things like that, so who knows where it's going. But anyways, that's a quick little footnote. But I'll ask you this, since you're more the MMA guy and you kind of got me into it. And by the way, I can't wait to watch the McGregor fight with you this weekend. That'll be awesome. But what do you think about Jon Jones? Because he's facing a 4-year suspension now. Which is, he's done at that point. Out of his career, he's out of his prime. He's probably not going to train.
Look, Jon Jones
4 years.
Is my favorite fighter in the MMA. I mean, above Conor, above anyone else, but he's my favorite fighter. And he's arguably the most talented one, but he's just has gotten his own way ever since he's got into the fighting business and got into stardom. And it's kind of hard to see. When I first saw this report, I was driving and I was like, oh my god, I watched that fight and he was phenomenal. I mean, he's been off for it. He's had one fight in 2 years, and he came out and looked like he's never stepped foot out the octagon. And when I saw the report, it was just like disheartening, because it seemed like he had came such a long way from the cocaine use, the failed drug test and everything he's been through, and then he comes out again and fails another steroid test. And not only for him, but for DC, Daniel Cormier, he's wanted Jon Jones. He's been waiting on him to get his act together. And once he thought he did, he fought him and he lost. And, it hurt DC, because that's all he wanted. He wanted to beat the pound for pound best fighter in the UFC.
Yeah, now who knows if that was actually legit or not.
Yeah, he's on steroids. You can't. Cocaine is one thing. Cocaine is supposed to hurt the body. Steroids isn't. So I mean, steroids. It just, if he faces a 4-year ban, he might as well just leave forever, because he's gonna be 34 years old.
34, yeah, 36, 35, something.
He's not gonna be the same. I mean, 4 years off, you risk your career for. If you lose fair and square, you have to man up and take your loss fair and square. But how do you accept cheating and winning?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, he's the second biggest star for the UFC, and behind Conor, he's a better fighter than Conor. But Conor, he's
the more mouthy and everything.
He's the pay-per-view guy. He's the guy for the UFC.
I actually saw a funny joke that said, it said, apparently Jon Jones didn't know that his steroids were in cocaine. Like they said, somebody infused steroids in his cocaine.
Yeah, it's crazy because it hurts the UFC. I know Dana White, he said he hasn't formally stripped it, but I mean, if this test holds up, then it's going to be gone by in the morning.
Yeah, and again, who knows? This could all be overblown, and a bad sample was
something, but I don't think Dana White releases it.
If that's the case, he kind of gives him.
Yeah, he's probably 95% sure, but I know Dana White's probably pissed, because that's his second money guy. Ronda Rousey, she got beat.
We haven't heard anything about her.
We haven't heard anything about Conor. The only person holding up So I see why Conor's like, oh, I'm worth the business.
Yeah, I completely agree. And this Mayweather fight too will really boost his brand even more.
Yeah, and I guess we can get on that a little next with the Mayweather fight. But Jon Jones is disappointing everybody.
We'll be having a podcast coming out on that later this week, a full dedicated to that one.
We'll probably have a little special edition Sunday the next morning after.
Yeah, exactly, because we'll actually both be back in my hometown of Raleigh watching the fight together out of our school. So that'll be actually really, really cool to go ahead and see that. But we wanted to say thank you guys. We appreciate everything. We hit some pretty good topics tonight, and obviously huge NBA trade, huge MMA, controversial ban, and steroid use of Jon Jones. So we hope you guys enjoyed, hope you listened to it, and kind of like a little closing message. Go ahead and share this with, we'll make a challenge, and we're going to end every podcast, I think, with a new challenge. That'll be kind of cool. Let's say share this with one person. It doesn't matter if it's a coworker, doesn't matter if it's a friend, somebody that loves sports. Go ahead and share this with them. Yeah. That'd be awesome to us. And, again, we're not in it for obviously the money. We're not even making any money off of it.
We're just doing this for now.
Yeah.
We like sports and we like to talk about it. So.
Yep, exactly. We want to make it fun and enjoyable for you all to be able to, listen and, interact, and hopefully we'll be able to get a live stream going one day. But also for the guys that are listening to this on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe, drop a comment if you actually stayed to the end of this. Let's go ahead and drop the comment of cow. I don't know, it just came up with something random, but go ahead and drop cow in the comments if you actually listen to this whole thing. We appreciate it. We enjoy it. Hope you all are having a great week. Finish it out strong, and look forward to our Mayweather and Conor McGregor podcast. You got anything else to say, Mike?
No. We'll keep you guys updated with more news. I mean, we got to this podcast late Tuesday night, and we're going to release it, early Wednesday for you guys to get to. So, that when news breaks, we're going to be talking about it. So.
Yep. We're making the effort and making the drives and stuff like that to go ahead and get it done. But I just love sitting down with you, man, and discussing some stuff. So appreciate it as always. And we're signing off, and talk to you in a couple days.